Only 28% of missing persons cases reported in the U.S. were for adults over 21 years of age. Of those cases, almost two-thirds were for men, a complete gender reversal from the cases for people under 21, where females are by far the largest demographic. There are many possible reasons why the number for men over 21 reported missing is so high. It's likely that a large part of this number comes from suicides that remain unsolved due to no body being found. These typically get classified as missing persons cases. Another large percentage of cases involve foul play or accidents. And then there are the cases, call it a midlife crisis or just a dead end, of men over 21 who choose to take part in their own disappearance, men who become missing by choice, possibly to escape a debt, commit a crime, have an affair, or simply to run away. July 28, 2013. Robert Hoagland. 49-year-old male Robert Hoagland was last seen on July 28, 2013 in Newtown, Connecticut. A former chef and father of three, Robert Hoagland had plans to pick up his wife of 25 years on the morning of July 28th at JFK Airport in New York City, but he never arrived. Did the reliable father of three simply have enough of the life he was living, or did something more sinister occur? A series of clues from ATM withdrawals to several reported sightings have left open the possibility that Robert Hoagland may be missing by choice. Things were going according to schedule on the evening of July 27, 2013, when Robert Hoagland called his wife to confirm she was still arriving at JFK Airport the following day. His wife had been gone for several weeks on an overseas trip, and Robert was going to pick her up at the airport. The next morning, Robert went about his business in the small Connecticut town that had become nationally known just 8 months earlier in 2012 as the horrific and tragic location of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. Robert stopped at a bagel place and then at a gas station, where he is seen on video purchasing both gas and a map of the East Coast of the U.S. Robert then returned home and had breakfast with his son Max, who had been struggling with addiction issues. Robert and Max had recently been working on their relationship, since it had been severely strained several weeks earlier when Max was implicated in the theft of 2 laptops from the Hoagland home. Robert believed they were sold or traded for drugs. This led to a confrontation between Robert and some of his son's underworld drug buddies at an abandoned building in the old industrial city of Bridgeport. The men denied any involvement, and the laptops were never recovered. After breakfast, Robert played a few games of online Scrabble on his phone, and then went out to mow the lawn around 10 or 11 a.m. Neighbors reported seeing Robert and Max speaking in the yard, after which Max would leave for a few hours in his mother's car. That was the last time anyone would see Robert Hoagland. That afternoon, Hoagland, or Hoagie as he was known to his family, never arrived at JFK Airport to pick up his wife. After multiple failed attempts to contact him, his wife went to a nearby relative's house in Brooklyn. She would later learn that Robert had not shown up that day to his job at a local law firm, something that was very unusual for him. Back at the family home in Newtown, the signs of Robert's disappearance were also not adding up. The day Hoagie was last seen, it appeared he had finished mowing the lawn, even returning the mower to its usual storage place. Both his and his wife's car were also found at the home, along with all of Robert's personal belongings, such as his cell phone, passport, medication, car keys, and shoes. Hoagland's wife later stated she had found his car keys and wallet 2 weeks later in their bedroom, randomly placed on a chair, tucked underneath a doll. As investigators looked deeper into the case, they uncovered several peculiar issues. First was with Hoagland's personal computer. A search revealed a program had been downloaded several weeks earlier designed to delete any search history from the hard drive. Despite this, Hoagland's laptop did reveal multiple searches for an unknown address in Rhode Island. A follow-up on the address by law enforcement determined it was unrelated to his disappearance. Second was the unusual withdrawal of $600 from a family bank account only 3 days prior to when he was last seen. Since the date of his disappearance, there has been no reported activity on his bank account or credit cards. It is unknown why Robert took the money out that day. With no suspects or motive, the case quickly grew cold, until September 2013, when police in Rhode Island received reports that a man matching Hoagland's description had been seen walking with a large backpack near Interstate 95 and Route 117 in Warwick. This began a series of unconfirmed sightings into 2014, when Connecticut police announced they believed Hoagland may be in Southern California. They had also been reported sightings in South Carolina and New York State. None of the sightings were ever confirmed. Law enforcement don't believe the men Robert confronted over the stolen laptops were involved in his disappearance, and there is no evidence that Hoagland was being targeted by anyone else, or had any enemies who may have wanted him out of the picture. According to his wife Lori, the couple had worked through some marital issues years earlier, but had since reconciled, even planning their retirement together. Since Robert was last seen, there have been searches around the property and multiple sightings investigated. But there still remains no evidence to explain what happened to Robert Hoagland. Was Robert a victim of his son's drug connections, or is he waiting to be found at the scene of an undiscovered accident? Or was Robert another suicide without a body? Or do the unusual series of clues leading up to Robert's disappearance point to a different motive? Robert was last seen wearing khaki shorts and a white t-shirt. He's 6 feet tall, 175 pounds, mostly bald with closely cropped, short brown hair. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Robert Hoagland, contact the Newtown, Connecticut Police Department at 203-270-4229.